On January 10th, 2016, the world became a worse place with the passing of legendary musician David Bowie, just 2 days after his 69th birthday. Nice. Bowie's birthday that year also marked the release of his 26th and final studio album, Blackstar. Quote, his death was no different from his life, a work of art. He made Blackstar for us, his parting gift. I knew for a year this was the way it would be. I wasn't, however, prepared for it. He was an extraordinary man full of love and life. He will always be with us, said longtime Bowie collaborator and co-producer of his final album, Tony Visconti. Bowie had been very private about his illness, liver cancer, not revealing any details until absolutely necessary. Visconti only found out when the Starman showed up to a recording session for the album immediately after a chemotherapy appointment. Even the backing band, the McCaslin Quartet, were completely unaware of Bowie's condition. When the artist's illness came to light, which for almost everyone was at the time of his passing, it immediately painted the album in a new light. Quote, in retrospect, it all makes sense, even without being aware of the lyrics. There's this amazing balance between darkness and hope. It's simultaneously a celebration of life and a farewell, said Ben Maunder, member of the McCaslin Quartet. Blackstar topped the Billboard 200 album chart, became a hot topic of discussion for that year, and even songs that weren't initially released as singles found themselves charting internationally. The final track on the album, perhaps the most obvious to read as a final farewell message from the Thin White Duke, hit number 45 on the Swiss Hit Parade chart, number 141 on the UK single chart, number 142 on the French singles chart, all before being released as a posthumous single on April 6, 2016. More importantly, the song continues to hit the hearts of Bowie fans the world over, with its lyrics that are simultaneously instantly understood and eternally mysterious, along with music that manages to reflect Bowie's entire 49-year career in just under 6 minutes. That's right, we're talking David Bowie's I Can't Give Everything Away on Bowie Me.
I can't give everything. I can't give everything.
That's right, it's Bowie Me, the only podcast that compares famous David Bowie songs to their many cover versions to find out which one is very wrong. I'm your host, as always, The Snake, joined by my prodigal co-host,
Alex Mildenberger.
Look who's back,
I'm
Alex
back.
Mildenberger.
I've returned to here.
You've returned.
You're back as well. We're both back.
Back
For good.
for good in the New York groove. It's in the year of our Lord 2026.
2026. Yep. 10 years ago.
Yes, 10 years.
10 years since David Bowie passed away.
In the blink of an eye, man.
Coming up on it anyway, I think.
Yeah.
This will come out shortly before then. But not that long before then. Like, it's real soon.
Same week, or just a couple of days before it as of this release.
Yeah.
And I have to say this was, on my part, unintentional. It didn't clock for me that the anniversary was a big one for Blackstar this year.
I didn't think of it either. I mean, I always remember it was 2026, or 2016 rather, just because like I remember Blackstar coming out quite well. You know, it was a big deal. We were really hyped up for it.
Yeah.
And I think I pre-ordered it and like it got delivered on the Friday or whatever, Thursday or Friday when it like came out. I remember listening to it, enjoying it, and then like thinking some of the lines were like suspicious almost.
Yeah, like kind of grim. You're like,
yeah,
this
I'm
is
like,
odd.
oh. So it's like, it's thinking about death. I wonder if that means anything. And then in my brain, it was the Sunday, but I don't know why it would have happened this way. Cause like, I thought I heard about it on the radio and I remember hearing people talking about it. But like I joined partway through the conversation, right? And then I was like half asleep, waking up. That's my memory of it, and it doesn't totally make sense that could have happened, but that's how I remember it happening. And then just like slowly coming to the realization of like, oh, they're definitely talking about David Bowie, but like they hadn't said names or what had happened, just that someone had died and they had just released like an album. It was like pretty obvious that they were talking about David Bowie and also that he was dead. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah,
It's
it was crazy because 2 days after his album releases, I saw a headline for it, or it might have been a social media post. I was like, guys, this is obviously fake. Because this was like big in the era of when they're like, Morgan Freeman passed away. Like, no, he fucking didn't.
And then he's fine. And
yeah, so
I doesn't know why.
Saw that headline. I remember it being late at night. And I was like, okay, people are just fucking saying shit because he's in the news for releasing an album. Checked a few other sources, and I was like, oh, fuck.
Everyone's reporting this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of
and
in disbelief at first.
I was in disbelief, man. And it stung for a long time. It still stings. Even like I listened to the album this week, and it's a great album. And
yeah, I did too.
Phenomenal listen. But like, I think you really think about it, you're just like, fucking hell. And then I read the history of it, and in my head, it was always just like a surefire thing he was going to die. When I first heard about it, I was like, okay, because it makes sense. He writes this album about death as he's for sure dying. The cancer went into remission halfway through the recording process.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, I think it was another Visconti interview or something where he made a comment like, oh yeah, David was writing more songs. Like he was getting ready to move to the next thing.
Yeah.
And then, it got him. And like he had plans.
Yeah, he had plans. And of course he was writing that musical, which we watched and reviewed a few years ago now.
We did. Lazarus.
And
with Michael C. Hall.
Michael C. Hall, yeah. And so he was still going.
He was, yeah. And I guess you don't really plan to slow down necessarily, especially if you're really into creating things.
Yeah, well, it's odd because he did take like 10 years off, 2003 to 2013.
He did. He like did stuff, right? Like he was not releasing albums and he was not touring. Or like really making music, but he was like painting and
acting,
yeah.
voice acting as well. He's in the SpongeBob movie.
Yeah.
The Prestige, I think, was also him, and
was that in that time period? It sounds about right.
It's either just before it or just after he
and then,
retires.
Like, he also like did some cameos as himself. Like he was on
extras. I think is his post reality.
So he did stuff. It's not like he completely disappeared, but coming from like a guy who released an album every couple years to 10 years off, I guess that was a big deal. That was when I got into him first.
I know,
so I
right?
had no idea. But yeah, and what's also interesting is, I mean, coming back, I remember being very excited for the next day as well, but also like not sure, and then just being like floored with, oh, it's good.
Yeah, because he hits us, and we talk. I'm sure we've told this story 1,000 times on this podcast in this month. But he hits us with the first single from the next day. This first piece of music he's dropped to the world in 10 years is "Where Are We Now," which is a phenomenal song. But as the first taste you're getting, you're like, oh, is this like David Bowie is just like really soft now? Like,
yeah, is he slowing down? And like, it's not so unusual to expect that. We've seen that with other artists. They get older and they sort of slow down and soften. And especially like my favorite. This isn't even really an example of that, but like maybe are less thoughtful in some ways. Not necessarily, but like. You get a lot of that, like, life's not so bad, right? Like, it feels less thoughtful. It feels like this.
Yeah, because they've kind of made it.
Platitudes
they've
kind of thing. Like, we made it.
Their
Life's
challenges.
Good.
Yeah.
We don't need to like think about challenges anymore. And like, I think that it's very difficult to not go into that mode. And my example is, it was 2023, I think. The Bare Naked Ladies put out an album, and I like couldn't get through the first song because that's all it was, and I just like stopped listening and did not go back to it. I was like, no, thank you. I don't want this.
Yeah.
And that's more recent, obviously, but like there's other earlier examples. But then, so it almost seemed like, maybe it was just because we were younger too, right? But it seemed like that might be the direction he's going in. But no, it didn't happen that way.
It didn't happen that way.
And then, so I remember being very apprehensive. And then because of that, because the next day surprised me so much, being so excited for Blackstar, because it's like whatever he does, I just need to trust him at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And then you listen to it the first time around, you're like, okay, cool, very dark. And then he dies 2 days later, and suddenly it's like a fucking mystery novel, man. You're like, oh fuck, he left us a bunch of clues.
Right, where are all the clues? And I think, this will probably come up a million times in this episode when we're talking about it, but like you said, he wasn't actually expecting to die, but obviously death was on his mind. It's obviously there. It is a very introspective album.
Yes.
And like contains a lot of references to his earlier stuff and things like that. So there's there's lines. It's not this song. I thought it was for some reason because I got the songs mixed up. But the line he says, "I'm dying to," as in I'm dying to do a thing.
Right.
But like I remember first hearing that and be like, is he sick? Like, is he okay?
Yeah. Like,
and then he dies
right?
2 days later.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. So I kind of remember that happening. I don't know if that was the intent, but it's kind of. It reads like that when he just shouts like I'm dying too.
Yeah, it's and people have talked about that, how like it's classic Bowie. There's even a line in this where he talks about how like his whole life was just saying no and meaning yes. Essentially, one read on that is always just kind of like obfuscating the truth a little bit. Right. He's a man of winks and tricks, and yeah, the line "I'm dying to," whether it's 1 O or 2 O's on the word "to," is one of his little Bowie tricks, I think.
Yeah, it's a good like pun, I guess. Especially in the context, because he says he's like talking about returning home.
Yeah,
which is also like a metaphor for death, right? So
yes,
it's like, but that's not even this song, man. We're getting
well, yeah, they're so tied together, and it was interesting reading little bits of information on how people interpreted this album, which somebody said it's like a bunch of different narrators approaching death in like a different way, from Blackstar to I Can't Give Everything Away, which I think is a very interesting take on it. And it's interesting, somebody else noted that David Bowie has been singing about death literally since his first album. With the smash hit track, Please Mr. Gravedigger.
Please Mr. Gravedigger. He's got themes of like death and decay, and that's also, I guess, a big part of why like some of the glam rock like stuff was very popular, as I understand it, because it's sort of this post free love era, like post hippie era.
We've talked about that.
Yeah.
The sort of 70s sleaze, this idea of the hippie dream being dead and sort of taking off the rose-colored glasses and seeing the truth of this fucking shitty world and living in that.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I was just wrapping that sentence up.
Okay. Yeah, I was just also going to say, like, and it's always like about endings and moving to the next thing, because obviously he's an artist who's constantly moving on to the next thing. And then by the time he actually gets something out that people love, he's like, I'm over it. You know, like glam was dead when he started it, doing glam, right?
Exactly. Even before he gets big with the song Changes. He's much too fast to take that test. The line about how, like, once word gets around him about what people think of him, he's already so different from what they saw that, like, it's meaningless.
Yeah, he fucking called his shot, man, and then lived it for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's why I always say, like, by the time I know about something, it's like not cool anymore.
Yeah.
Because I'm not like that. I always,
He's streets ahead, you're streets behind.
I am streets behind. Absolutely.
So yeah, let's focus on this song in particular. I Can't Give Everything Away. Naturally, we both have sort of the same experience. We bought the album, we're big fans. This whole album sometimes sits in a memory hole for me because it is such a tough listen at times.
Yeah, and also 2016 was a weird year for a lot of reasons.
It was a tough year.
It's kind of known as like a year of death, and I don't know if there's more death, but there were a lot of like high profile celebrity deaths in 2016.
Yeah.
And there's also the year of like Harambe. Very weird year.
Yeah, Harambe was probably the biggest loss, but like Prince and Alan Rickman were pretty close.
Yeah. And what's it? Lemmy died like end of 2015 kind of thing. So like we already primed for it. And then there were a lot of high profile. And I think there were some other ones. But anyway, Yeah, those were big ones. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like a year where I was thinking about death a lot.
100%. And interestingly enough, like this year, because people will be like, "Oh yeah, your favorite artist died," whatever. Gary Oldman, I think, in an interview this year, Gary Oldman, the actor,
Yeah.
said he's like, the world got worse when David Bowie died in 2016. He was like, he like knew David Bowie, but he was like, it's been worse
Yeah,
ever
because
since.
they were like pretty good friends.
Yeah,
as I
so it's like
understand.
there is a sense of this for some people that like 2016 was a turning point.
Yeah, it's also like the year Donald Trump was elected. first
Exactly.
elected president of the United States. So a lot of things happened in 2016.
Yeah, a tumultuous year.
And it would be nice to have new Bowie music to help deal with that kind of stuff. But you know what? Having the Bowie music we already have is a gift enough.
Gift enough. And this song, I've like, because I knew it, and I know the song, but I like kind of forgot until I played it this week, and it opens up with that reference to a new career in a new town, that harmonica.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I like still use that song, A New Career in a New Town, to just like sometimes if I feel like something is like it's you ever do something it just feels like the start of an era. Obviously like starting a
yeah.
new job or like, if there's just like something new happening, I'll throw that on if I'm driving to it, if it feels
Yeah.
big,
100%.
And like so I have such a strong association with that being a sound of like a new beginning, and now we're like flipping it on its head and now we're playing out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think this
to
song-
the unknown, because we don't know what's next, so it still
True.
works as a transition. But yeah, it
True.
is to the end.
Yeah, it's an end, but also I guess any end is a beginning and all that.
Mhm.
And I guess the other thing I want to say, just on the top, as we've acknowledged, this was not like necessarily meant as a swan song, but it's a really good album closer. And it's a really introspective album closer, so it does feel like this is like the end cap on a life.
Yeah.
Because this is the last David Bowie song on a David Bowie album. There were some, there were singles since then. They've gone back and
they've done
took
an
some
EP.
things out of the vaults.
We got Toy from the Vault.
Yeah, but this one is like the last David Bowie song that wasn't like an outtake.
Yeah, that was like David Bowie made this with the intention of release. He full way through. It's the final track on his final studio album. I've talked about on the show previously about how strange it is that sometimes an artist's final work, whether it is knowingly or unknowingly, seems very like poignant and fits
Right.
very well as a final note.
In retrospect.
Mm-hmm. It's quite haunting, and this song, in that sense, is very haunting. But like Ben Monder said, there is darkness and hope in this song. It is sad and like hopeful in a weird way. Like we said, we're referencing a new career in a new town, which has this hopeful feel of change. It's an incredible track on an incredible album. And we should talk about the lyrics, I think,
Mm-hmm.
which are written. There's only 2 verses.
Yeah, it's not
Only
that
2.
much.
Not that much. And it begins like this. I know something's very wrong. The pulse returns the prodigal sons, the blackout hearts, the flowered news, with skull designs upon my shoes.
Yeah, it's so fascinating reading this because it's hard to tell how much is just in retrospect because obviously it's so strongly associated with his death.
Yes.
And he was thinking about death. He was thinking about endings, I guess.
Yeah, because even when he was
Yeah.
getting treatment for it and it wasn't a terminal diagnosis yet, the man was 69 years old. He
Yeah.
knew there was a chance that this was it.
Yeah.
So it comes up in the writing. It's very present. And the line, I know something's very wrong. Like, obviously, the most obvious read on that is the man knows he has cancer.
Right. Or like something just feels off, right? And I
Mhm.
mean, before you get a big diagnosis, obviously you have symptoms. Things start to go wrong. And if it's like systemic, like it's hard to know, right? Because it's
Mhm.
not like, oh, I had a pain in my wrist and it was like a arthritis or like that's very
Yeah.
localized. Whereas like you just kind of have this feeling of like a few things are off and like maybe your pee is funny somehow, like just weird
Yeah.
little details that you start to notice. So it does have a bit of that, and then like a reference to a pulse, which generally associated with like medical stuff, right?
Yeah,
And
also
life, like the
the
pulse returns,
heart,
obviously
which keeps
he's-
you alive.
Yeah, It's alive. And then this like prodigal sons reference, which I feel like I had to take on, and then now I've forgotten it. But obviously, the prodigal son is the son that left and kind of came back and was forgiven.
Well, I think it ties in with what you mentioned about Lazarus, where he brings up this idea of returning home. And oddly ties in with not once in a life. This must be the place. It makes me think of the place where we were before we were born.
Ah, right.
So he's kind of saying like the pulse, or rather what is going to be the lack of it at a certain point. The pulse of life is, and the arc of a lifetime is it always ends in death. So by living and breathing, you are always returning to that home. You are on the long journey home to death, to the place before birth. The prodigal son saying maybe he sees himself as a sinner, or maybe all of us having left whatever that place was, are in some way, we thought there was something better here in the living world than the world of death. We are in some way prodigal sons.
Yeah, and I think just like the story of the prodigal son is about how like God forgives everyone if they come back. So this is about coming back, like at its really most basic level. Like that's what we're learning, or at least that's how I was taught to interpret it.
Yeah, we're supposed to accept the prodigal son. So even in that, he's saying like death is scary. Sure, I know something's wrong, but it is as natural to die, and it is good. We will. There should be welcoming when we leave the flesh and return to whatever was before.
Yeah.
We follow that with the blackout hearts, the flowered news. Flowered news, probably the most literal interpretation, is all of the kind things that were said of David Bowie after his passing.
Right. Yeah. It does seem like he's thinking about what might happen if and when he dies. And I guess blackout hearts maybe just refers to the idea of mourning. Like it feels like mourning, right? Wearing black and like having a heavy heart, like those are things when you feel sad. So
yeah, so it could refer to the mourners themselves. It could refer to him, his heart blacking out because it is no longer beating, it is no longer conscious essentially or functioning. But yeah, blackness, naturally a very sad thing, or the album's Blackstar. So yeah, it does feel like a line that is very much about death and its immediate aftermath, the news and the emotions attached to that.
Yeah.
And then an interesting literal line here. He did actually wear, I believe the designer is Alexander McQueen.
Yeah, there's some notes about that. He wore shoes that had skull designs
on them.
But then also like an interesting image, just because it's kind of like almost like he's marked for death, because obviously skulls are a symbol of death. For perhaps obvious reasons associated, a skeleton is a dead person.
Yeah.
If you see the skeleton, that's associated with death, and just like the idea of like walking with death kind of thing.
Yeah.
And there's like no getting away from it because it's on your shoes.
Yeah. You're on this path, this journey, this pulse to your death.
Mm-hmm.
And the signs have always been there. There's been skull designs on your shoes. The things you used to get through this life are getting you through to death.
Yeah, so it's really hard to like. Yeah, you can't really separate this song from this idea of death.
Yeah, and I don't think it's meant to be.
Yeah, it's about an ending, but a very final ending.
Yeah, and it's so what we then get. The chorus is such an interesting line because it is.
Yeah.
It is, I can't give everything away, I can't give everything away. It's the title line, and I think so open to interpretation. Even what his emotions are in saying that line. Is he upset about that? I do
think there's a few ways you can go about it. I do also kind of think like verse 1 and 2 are sort of like a cool poem about death and things around it. And then like the chorus is really like the idea of the song. That's really how I think about it, but I won't interrupt any further.
It is the statement. No, I mean, I'm going to need you to elaborate on that.
I will.
But yeah, because it's like one read is that he is sort of lamenting that passing is coming and he can't give you like everything he has. Obviously, we knew he was making more things. He was writing more material.
Right.
And then this is the sort of lament of like, I can't give you guys all of that. Or there's also sort of the winking notion of a magician who's telling you his tricks. He's like, well, I can't tell you guys everything. Like,
Can't give you all the tricks away, or then it wouldn't be magic anymore.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting line because to me, I always kind of thought of it. I didn't really think of the magician thing. I like that because he's like, I gotta kind of keep something for myself. In that way, because like that's my bag, right? Like,
yeah, it's his MO. He's been a man who operates behind personas and it's sort of high concepts his whole career.
Yeah, and that I really think like that idea of like the public facing persona is very important to this line, because like what I'm hearing is kind of the split between the two things of like, I can't give everything away in the sense of I am physically unable to, like maybe I want to give everything,
right,
but I can't, like there's no, like it's impossible to get everything across. But also the other side of like, I can't do it because like it's irresponsible and like unhealthy to give everything away. Like I have to keep some for myself, which is more related to the magician thing, but maybe more like of a like mental health bent to it.
Yeah, and I do think like in that there is this idea of, as a goodbye message, he's like, I would love to tell you guys about the afterlife, like what comes next. I would love to write you songs from death. But I can't, I literally am unable to do that.
Right. Yeah. And that's the other thing is like, we as humans are limited. So like the death means you can't do everything. And just the also idea, it doesn't quite say this, but like tying in with the like limitations of mortality, like I have to stop at some point, kind of thing. Like there's just the idea of like there's not enough time to do everything I want to. I want to do all these things, but I have to accept that I can't.
Exactly.
Because we all have to accept our mortality at some point because we're all gonna die.
We're all coming up against it. That's kind of what Tony Visconti pulled from it in an interview with Rolling Stone. He says, I don't know what the song is referring to, but what he gives away is what he writes about. I think a lot of writers feel like, if you want to know about me, just study my lyric. That's why he doesn't give interviews. He's revealed plenty in past interviews, but I think his life now is about his art. It's totally about what he's doing now. That doesn't matter. The idea that what he gives away is his work, his art, his music.
Yeah.
And that he's no longer going to be able to do this, I think, is a very strong interpretation.
Yeah. And so it's a lot in not a lot of words, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the way he sings it is also important, but yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah, it's fascinating. We move into the second verse. Seeing more and feeling less, saying no but meaning yes. This is all I ever meant. That's the message that I sent. Another set of lines, I think, similar to the chorus, that what his meaning is behind them, like emotionally, can change. Like, is he lamenting that this is all he ever meant? Or is he, again, like a magician explaining his trick? It's like, oh, it's very simple. I say no, but mean yes. Like, that's it, dude.
Right. Now he is kind of giving it away,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like so boiled down that you need to take like 100 extra steps to get a little bit out of it.
Yeah, it's like a Zen koan. You have to fucking like chew on it and really think about it to understand it.
It also kind of reminds me of, I mean, we can't have a Bowie episode where we don't also mention Springsteen.
Of course.
So it kind of reminds me of Springsteen saying like, well, really, I think of what I do as like, I'm trying to like shine a light on the reality of the American dream. And it's like, well, yeah, that that's kind of what he's always done, but he just finds different ways to do it. That are fun, but like at its core, that's what's going on. So like he's kind of saying, this is it. This is the trick. It's like, I don't think it's that impressive necessarily. He's not saying that per se, but he's really boiling it down to this simple 2 lines, right?
Yeah. And saying like, this is like all of my work. That's what it was. Saying no, but meaning yes. And that's what I gave you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. I also like seeing more and feeling less. We've talked about a lot of Bowie lyrics, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there is always an interesting observation of some kind, it seems.
Yeah.
It like in most of the ones we've talked about, it always seems like there's another little factor that if you dig into it, there's another layer there. And I've always
Yes.
found that very impressive about David Bowie lyrics. But seeing more and feeling less, interesting about feeling less, the idea that he does have these observations, but maybe, I don't know why he would say he feels less. Maybe he doesn't think it's as impressive
Yeah.
as other people. Maybe he feels like writing about it is not effective, because he just observes and doesn't actually act on a lot of things.
Yeah. The
I
other
don't know.
interpretation being that if he's receiving chemotherapy during this period, that one, he's going to be numbed out on drugs,
True.
and two, spending a lot of time not working, not creating, more like watching movies and shit. So there's an element to this line is like, I see so much of humanity now. I'm watching more things. I'm seeing all
Right.
this, but feeling less. One, because I'm dying. Two, because I'm drugged up. And three, because it's just like, it's sort of distanced from me now.
Right. I guess that is kind of the observation, the like interesting way to talk about the thing that we said on the top, about other artists as they age who kind of become distanced from everything and start to write about like, oh, all those problems I had before, maybe it's not so bad, that kind of stuff. Maybe it's not so bad.
Maybe it's not so bad. Whereas like Bowie is seeing
Yeah.
that almost as a disease here, where he's like seeing that more and feeling less. This is not good.
Yeah, and it's a very melancholy song overall, so he doesn't sound excited about any of this.
No, and then the line saying no but meaning yes, we've read it as sort of this reveal of what his magic technique is, but it's also a line that speaks as a lament. It's like, so often I have said no to things that I have actually wanted to say yes to.
Yeah, true. And then you miss out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah. So this line is, like this verse rather is like part observation, just on maybe the processes of aging or the process of being sick. It's part this cheeky like magician speak where it's like, well, this is the trick. It's very easy. It's that simple. And then maybe this idea, this lament of not having done enough, something that everybody I think feels at multiple stages in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And all that in like 5 lines.
Yeah, it's jam-packed, man. Some of it's that like real poetry lyrics thing of like, there's 8 lines, technically 9 because the chorus is repeated a lot, right? But like really gets it across. And the last 2 lines are like kind of a repeat of each other, right? Like,
yeah, they are.
so it's almost 7 or 8 lines, right? So it gets a lot across. I'm always impressed by lyrics that can do that.
Yeah.
Feels very thoughtful.
This is the guy, like, I was shocked, and I mean, I know it was a long career, but 49 years from his first album release. That's not even counting time before he actually started releasing his own music.
True.
That's a lot of time spent writing. And even if you look at early works, like you mentioned 8 lines, 8-line poem from fucking Hunky Dory.
Yeah.
Like, he's been working in small spaces for getting out big ideas for a long time.
True. This is an 8-line poem.
Yeah.
With a chorus.
With a chorus. And that's the thing about this, is this work, both musically and even somewhat lyrically, bears resemblances to a lot of his previous work without ever feeling like we're retreading on territory.
No, the most explicit reference is probably that harmonica part, and I love it so much I don't even care.
I love it so much, and the thing is, some people have erroneously called it a sample. It's not a sample.
Right, because he actually like plays it. Or
he is actually playing it, so it is inspired by, it is a reference to, and of course we've talked about Lowe, the album, and how much of the songs just sound like snippets, almost like demos, like they barely exist.
Yeah.
And so to have this sort of ephemeral track return in some form on what becomes his final track is just like, it's a masterstroke. It's incredible.
Yeah, it is quite fascinating. The other interesting thing, I mean, so I don't know if this is a good observation or not, but I'm going to say it out loud.
Mm-hmm.
Lowe is kind of the first Bowie album. Well, maybe not the first Bowie album, but like, it's obviously not his first album, but like, it's his first album after he does like characters, right?
Right.
And like, it's the first one where it's not really a character. Obviously, it's kind of, but and then it wasn't until Scary Monsters where he was really like, I'm gonna say goodbye to the characters. But it's like, well, didn't he just do 3 albums of not really characters? You know, there's no character that is named in Lowe, Heroes and the Watcher, right? Not
Right.
like Ziggy Stardust and Aladdin Sane and the Thin White Duke. Like those come up explicitly. And Halloween Jack.
Of course, the biggest one of all, Halloween
yeah.
Jack.
Exactly. And then there's not really a character in Young Americans, but he's kind of doing a thing because he's like so out of his wheelhouse there. It feels like a character.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like it is like really Bowie coming in Lowe with a new career in a new town, and then now he's signing off with that same signature.
Yeah, it's sort of the entry and exit of David Bowie is maybe, as we can see, as closest to not a persona as we can see him, is the Berlin Trilogy era where he really attempts to get off drugs. Of course, we talked about The Passenger by Iggy Pop last year, and how those attempts were mixed results.
Yeah.
But that's where he starts to do that, culminating, of course, in Scary Monsters and Super Creeps at the 79 or 1980.
Yeah, I think it was 80.
80, yeah. So really, where he is, of course, also being very self-reflective. So you do get this. He's not the Thin White Duke. He's not the Starman. He's not Major Tom. He is David Bowie. He's the DJ in Watcher.
Yeah. But he's just a DJ.
He's just, yeah. And so, yeah, there is something to be said about how there are no major characters associated between those periods of like 77 to like the rest of it. That is
onwards.
Yeah, that is interesting. I think that is noteworthy.
Yeah,
I haven't heard other people talked about it, but
I don't know how significant that is, but it is kind of, that is where Bowie is like Bowie and not like I'm a character.
Yeah,
Bowie
as much as I
playing.
think he's able to dip into characters.
Sure.
He doesn't take on a full persona in the same way that he does others. It is worth noting that the image of him on Lowe is inspired by the movie The Man Who Fell to Earth.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like his hair from the movie, and he just sort of keeps it, which he also kind of has as the Thin White Duke anyway.
Yeah.
I think, because I mean, even the cover of Station to Station is a shot from The Man Who Fell to Earth, right?
That's right. He uses that. It's that when he enters that spaceship.
Yeah. So it's kind of like that's what he looked like, but obviously he's the Thin White Duke in one, and he's David Bowie in the other. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, and even looking at songs from Lowe, there's like "Be My Wife," which is like a song. I think that literally he wrote that for his wife, didn't he? Or somebody?
I don't know, because like he was he divorced by then? Because like Angie Bowie, they got together like early in the 70s or so.
You're right, and there's only been 2 marriages, right?
Yeah, and he didn't get married again until like the 90s.
90s
so I don't know if
Black
that's
Tie
actually...
White Noise.
Yeah.
I mean, not for the album, but there's the wedding song on that, which I believe was
there's a wedding
played
song
at his actual wedding. Yeah, well, they're not that one maybe, but I guess dealing with drug addiction, like crashing in the same car has a real, but even that there's like kind of a character to it. There's something interesting about this. I don't have the full tools to dissect it.
I know, it's like I wasn't prepared to go into detail about this, but I kind of noticed it. So
I like that, and maybe it'll come up more through the month, depending on what other songs we cover.
On which direction we go in, because we have not planned this month out fully.
That's just shocking for us to not be prepared.
I know.
But we are prepared to talk about what this song sounds like.
We are.
Worth noting that the song does actually start at the end of, is it Dollar Days? Is that the name of the song?
The previous song, I think you're right. Yeah, it comes right after Dollar Days.
Yeah, and
which
so
I think is the one where he says, I'm dying too.
You may be right, Alex.
Yeah, it is.
That's right.
If I never see the English evergreens, I'm running.
That's right. So yeah, it starts at the end of Dollar Days. We kind of phase it in. And we get the drums. Yeah,
it kind of comes in. It's like it comes in with the beat, right? And like the drums stick around throughout the whole track.
And they're
more or less
pretty interesting drums. They're not like a straightforward rock beat.
No, they're a bit more intricate, right? There's a fair amount going on. It feels a bit more like a programmed beat. It is not.
Yes.
But it kind of has that feeling because it's so repetitive, right?
So repetitive, and like just the way they've sort of compressed the noise to make it a little like tinnier or something, like a little more electronic sounding. It really is reminiscent both in like structure of play and tone of play off of some of his Earthling work.
Oh, it's got some of that, like electronic. Yeah, it does sound a bit broken up, right?
Yeah.
Broken up, like especially the kicks. You kind of like it'll hit and you get that the like rumble.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I hit my mic. It's in a slightly different position from what I'm used to.
Right,
so.
you're not used to it.
And I punch it normally, so it's just worse now. Yeah, and it does have that feel to it because of that.
Because of that, yeah, and it's like you said, very like intricate pattern there. Like it's very lively, and that's an interesting thing about what comes off, especially lyrically, or what can come off as a very sad song.
Yeah, it's like there's a melancholy to it, and I do think what you said before about like how it's like an end of a life or something, and also that's kind of a new beginning in a way, because there is that sort of like bittersweetness to it, because it feels very like there's an acceptance to it.
Yes,
like over the course of this album, he has worked towards this, and this is the payoff.
Yeah.
But there's still a bit of like definitely tension there. You kind of get it later on though, like on the verse, because like this intro introduces everything. Like there's a synth playing the harmony. It has a fair amount of motion.
Yeah.
Like, for a really like soft, stringy synth, it's playing like da 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 ba da ba. Yeah, it's like moving, but it just really fills up the space because it's such like a big string synth sound.
And it's very soft. As much as there's driving, it's a very soft tone.
Yeah, it still feels like it's in the background.
Yeah, it's fascinating for that you can have both of those elements.
Yeah, and then like those slow guitar chords too. Like you get some like picked notes, and then it'll do a like slow chord,
like almost harmonics or something in the way that sound is coming off.
Oh, it does have that kind of sound to it. Yeah, it could be that kind of thing. I wouldn't be too surprised.
So it's a very
full
track for, again, what is like a melancholy piece, melancholy, nostalgic, kind of future facing as well, because it is like transitional.
Yeah. And then of course the harmonica's in here too,
yes,
that we keep talking about because it rules.
It's so good.
Oh man. Even like we talked about, what was this? Is it Moon Age Daydream was the name of the movie we watched?
Yes, that's back? Right. Yeah.
Where it's like just kind of like this combination of like mashed up Bowie tracks and like Bowie quotes from interviews and stuff. It has a bit where it plays A New Career in a New Town that is like plays that line from it, and it's very, very good.
Yeah, and then like it's direct like serotonin release to my brain.
Yeah, like it's like that, and then there's a bit from the beginning of oh my gosh, the Station to Station song.
What, like not TVC 15?
It's Wild as the Wind.
Oh yeah,
no, gotta be Word on a Wing.
Word on a Wing.
Yes, like dun, 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 bum, bum, like the piano part there.
Oh yeah.
There's some really good transitions with those, and it's like two really simple parts, right? But yeah, I really like those in that movie, and obviously using it here is also real. Yeah, dopamine rush.
Yeah, it's just so the tone is great. The harmonica is incredible, and we get it kind of just peppered throughout. It'll come in, screech a little bit, and then leave for a bit.
Yeah, there's even like a few points where there's like a and it's not even the riff, but I think it's a little harmonica. It's just like a high pitch.
It very like piercing, and it kind of cuts through it like the rest of the track in an interesting way.
Yeah. I think that's everything on the intro.
Yeah, the bass as well, which is mirroring the pattern of the synths.
Ooh, that's right.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yes. I didn't note the bass all that much, but there's bass here.
Again, adding to that driving element, just filling out the low end a little. It's not a show stealer by any means.
Not yet anyway. I think there's a bit later.
That
might
think
be
we
one of
get
the
a nice
covers. I
little
can't remember
groove.
Yeah, verse 1 is when he starts singing. It's David Bowie's voice, but he's obviously sounds older because he's in his late 60s at this point.
Yeah, that's
but he always sounds good.
He always sounds fucking great.
It's David Bowie. But for the most part, it's I guess the important thing is that like he's singing like quite softly here.
Mm-hmm.
I know some things very wrong. He's not really pushing it at all. And then everything just kind of continues, right? This is where I really noticed the like tension to the synthesizer harmony.
Right.
Because the chords do have a bit of that tension, and I think part of it is just they have like kind of some echo on it, and there's a lot of like space filling in this.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this is kind of where I noticed it, and then it's really cool because transitioning into the chorus, it feels like a release, as choruses often do.
Right.
But now like this is kind of the realization, the I can't give everything away, and the like acceptance of that. And it does feel like there's an acceptance in the chorus at least. But there's still some of that tension there. It's not gone. It's just that there's also some other stuff that makes it feel more resolved.
Mm-hmm. And that synth moves to just like a long sustain through the chorus. Just a
right. There's still that it's
or like we get an additional synth. Like it's doing this one high sustain, and you still get that in the back there.
And it's not till he says away actually that it sounds more resolved. I forgot to mention that.
Right. Yeah. That is that
he says
resolve.
I can't give everything a couple times before he adds away.
And before we get that away, that's where you get that piercing harmonica you were talking about.
Yeah, and just kind of a whine.
Yeah, a really like high-pitched whine. What's interesting that I noted, I only noted it on the first time this happens, which is about 102, because he goes, I can't give everything away, and then we get a repeat of that.
Yeah.
102 in the left speaker, it's that I can't give everything is spoken, like really like
whispered.
Whispered, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few, I mean, Bowie loves to do like different deliveries in multiple tracks over top of each other for his vocals, and I like it.
Yeah, I love that. We talked about that. One of the most famous examples is probably Heroes for that.
Yeah,
where he screams into the mic at different, because it gets further away from him, but he like sings into it. They move the mic away for different takes, and he has to sing harder and wilder for each take.
Right, and just layering those over each other.
Yeah,
very cool stuff. Yeah, cool, like whispered, I can't give. It feels more like personal too. Like he can do the same singing, but also it feels personal because he's whispering it. I guess the other note, his voice, he's like singing louder here. Like it was very relaxed on the verse.
There is.
And now he's like delivering it from the mountaintops almost. It feels, it's not like shouted, but it's like soaring.
Yeah, there is a bit of oomph in it. You can, especially on the like I can't give. Like he's punching it a lot more than he is on the verse.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, great stuff as ever. This is the point where I noticed the bass is the transition back into the verse, because he's a little like
yeah, he does like a quick little lick, and then you hit the second verse, which is multi-tracked vocals to sound bigger than the first verse.
Yeah, they're both like singing lower, but like you're just getting more, and there's like more noise generally. I think a lot of it is echo, and you'll get that like sort of general cacophony, almost like tapey cacophony.
Yeah,
but the sounds themselves are mostly the same. But this is where we start to get the saxophone.
That's right. You get it pretty low, but it is in there.
It kind of like pulses. Yeah, it's like like a drone, but it kind of pulses.
Yeah.
It's gonna be much more prominent in a minute, but
yeah, it's priming us kind of for the saxophone solo that comes up.
Oh yes,
which is around 154, and boy, yeah. And it's interesting. There's a great technique here that is done, is that, and because he's working with a jazz quartet here. I didn't realize it was an all new band for Blackstar.
Yeah, I do remember hearing that at some point, where it's like he heard some like experimental jazz group and was like, "These guys are great. Let's do an album."
Yeah,
and
like, it
gives it such a different sound to his other stuff. And it's so fascinating.
Yeah, but to avoid the pitfall, because this is actually fairly long and we get a couple of sax solos, but
Yeah.
to avoid it just sounding detached, we get the chorus over top of it still.
Yeah, it sort of does both, right? Like he's doing the chorus, and then you start to get like a bit of saxophone, but like this is a bit of an extended chorus compared to the last one.
Yeah.
So he keeps going, and then like you get some sax solo, but he just keeps going.
Yeah, so we get like he does the I can't give everything away, and then so the sax solo starts at 154 basically, and then at 216 it really kicks off.
Yeah, because it's chorus up to that point, but they're just soloing in the background. There's an interesting like few seconds where I feel like the track gets like louder and fuller, but just for that time. So like if you listen between like 208 and 210, it like I don't know, they add like more synth or something.
Oh yeah, you can hear it. It's almost a kind of jittery shift. Like it
Kind of
feels
like
very
pulses
abrupt.
everything
Yeah.
louder, which I thought was interesting. I don't know.
That is interesting.
I don't know what that means, but
I don't know if that's just like not a smooth transition they made there, or if it's really meant to like bump it there. But yeah, 216 sax really starts going off,
yeah,
and then about 15 seconds after that, we do the chorus again, so we get those vocals back in there. So the saxophone goes pretty nuts, like it's doing a
big fast runs and stuff.
but we never lose the footing of the song itself. We know we're
it never
still
feels
in it.
hectic, right? Like it never feels like it's trying to play fast. This is just like the natural thing.
Yeah,
It's interesting.
it's really good stuff, and it's a jazz solo, and we like it.
Yeah,
So
it's a good saxophone solo. I can't badmouth a saxophone solo in a David Bowie song. I'm sorry.
Certainly
Maybe there's
not.
problems. I can't see them.
I can't see them because we've heard a lot of bad sounding saxophone tone as well. He manages
True.
to go pretty nuts while keeping a fairly smooth tone.
Yeah. It's good. It's a good solo.
Because we start screeching at like 255, so this solo's been going on for a minute with other things around it. But
yeah. And like the next verse doesn't come in until 310, so
yeah, and that's our breakdown verse.
yes, break way down to like just bass and vocals.
Yes,
with that second vocal track as well.
Yeah.
I do like he says the pulse returns and then the guitar comes back.
Yeah.
That like really echoey picked guitar. And then kind of the drums come in after that, and then the synth fades in. So classic breakdown. By the end, we're back to normal. But also at this point, some of the cacophony from before kind of seems like it builds up over time. We haven't had enough time to build that cacophony. So we get into the chorus and it doesn't have as much of that, but everything's back. It just doesn't have as much in the background.
Yeah.
At first.
And we get so like weighted, I think, by the delivery of I Know Something's Very Wrong with no backing behind it, just a little bass.
Yeah.
Like it's a very dramatic moment. Then we kind of build, we're kind of like regrowing the process, but it feels very natural. It's very well thought out.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Our next kind of big note, actually, before the next big note, on the end of I Can't Give Everything Away around 347, we get like woodwindish sounding synth. I think it's still synth. Do, 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 do.
Yeah, just a little bit, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, subtle. It's subtle, but it's there.
Basically the same synth pattern that's been going on throughout the song, but slightly different.
Yeah, it's just more synthesizer.
Yeah. And then the next big note, and this is a rarity for this album in general, is a guitar solo at 408.
Yep. Put a guitar solo in. I have heard this guitar solo compared to like Robert Fripp's work on Scary Monsters.
Yeah.
And I think it's a valid comparison, but I also think that like it sounds unique enough that I never really noticed.
I think a lot of it comes from just the tone. Like the actual tone of that guitar sounds very Fripp era, like David Bowie. So yeah, like Scary Monsters.
Yeah, and I've always liked that tone because it's like so close to something I tend to not like. Like there's a cleanness to it, but it's like just on the edge.
Yeah.
Of like completely falling apart and becoming like a really big, like distorted mess.
Yeah, it really does ride the line of like
Yeah.
playing with guitar sound, but having this like really clean element to it.
Yeah, and I've always like, I mean, the guitar solo in Teenage Wildlife is like one of my favorite things,
Beautiful.
and
Yeah,
this does kind of evoke that a little bit.
absolutely.
It has like some of those faster runs that sound like it's like controlled, but like it could break out at any time, kind of thing. Yeah, so I like this for sure.
Yeah, I think this one's brilliant. It's interesting though that
Yeah.
you, I, and most listeners seem to note Robert Fripp as being the influence. Tony Visconti said to The Sun, I imagine a newspaper and not the
Yeah.
star in the sky. He says, we actually discussed that we were going to get a little bit of Mick Ronson sound on the end of that
Oh.
track, and we did.
Interesting. It's supposed to be a Mick Ronson thing.
Mm-hmm. He
Huh.
also further claims that it's the only time we alluded to the past on the whole album. It sounded a little bit Ziggy or Aladdin Sane.
This solo specifically?
Yeah, that's what he's saying. That seems to be what he's saying here. But there's obviously much more obvious references to the past with the harmonica.
Yeah.
So yeah, Visconti may be a little bit talking out of pocket. I wish I could hear some of the like Mick Ronson, who was the guitarist from the Spires from Mars era, Ziggy Stardust, Aladdin Sane. For people who don't know that, phenomenal guitarist. We talked about his solo work and his like string arrangement work. He was like a great musician, and then he went to do not astronomy. He went back and did like engineering or something. Like he quit being a rock star.
Mick Ronson, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't remember what.
I can't remember
what he
where
did.
he ended up, but
And then passed away, I think, also from cancer in like the 90s.
yeah, I believe that's right, which is unfortunate. But yeah, this is a great solo. A lot, yeah, that Teenage Wildlife guitar solo is a great touch point for that. It's exactly what I thought of.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this thing cooks for a bit, and then
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
a similar situation with the saxophone solo, right? Like, there's still chorusing happening as it goes.
Yeah, and then this song really peters out around the 5:15 mark,
Yeah, it sort of goes into like an ending.
like a sort of big rock finish.
Yeah,
And
that's
a-
where you really get those like fluty synths too.
Yeah, they come back at about like the 5-minute mark, 5:05, and carry us through.
And then like it gets big, and then kind of everything starts to like peter out, like you're saying.
Yeah,
And then you
there's
get
even
that,
like
and the drums do a little fill and kind of stop, and then everything also
Yeah.
stops as
And-
they like play fills, basically. Like
Yeah.
it's a big rock outro, but it sounds like the rest of the album.
yeah.
Big jazz outro.
Big
rock
jazz
outro.
out, yeah. It's because it's not the same like dun 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 dun, but everything kind of like tails out, and we've got
Mhm.
15 seconds of basically just synth sustain at the end.
Yeah, just holding that synth chord, and then it kind of fades out.
Yeah,
But like,
Um,
yeah, that's it. That's the song.
that's the
It's like-
song.
it's such a great like album closer,
Mm-hmm.
and then I guess also life closer.
Life
but, like,
closer. Yeah.
I tend to only judge things as album closers, so this is a good one. Yeah, just like real like introspective feel to it, but it also has this like air of acceptance. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Real
like almost
interesting.
exciting at times. It's like the guitarist said, Ben Mondry's like it's almost hopeful.
yeah,
It's a wild song. I can't believe they released it as a single, like at a 6-minute fucking runtime.
yeah. It's lengthy.
It's lengthy, and I'm going to talk about it briefly because it's a lyric video, but it is worth noting because it's made by a Jonathan Barnbrook. Jonathan Barnbrook, who is a British graphic designer, essentially the album artist for David Bowie from 2002 onwards. So he did Heathen, Reality, The Next Day, and Blackstar.
Right.
And along with that, typography is apparently his big thing. So
Okay.
what people might not know, if you look at the Blackstar album, there's of course the big large star, and then under that are 5 like weird deconstructed stars.
Yeah.
That's his type font that spells Bowie.
Oh.
So that first one is a B, the full star is an O, the 2 stars kind of touching each other is a
Yeah.
W, the arrow up is an I, and that last one is an E. And you can find, because he has made it like freely available under Creative Commons, his entire typeface for Blackstar.
Gotta say, can't read it.
Yeah, it's not really like a good typeface.
No, but I don't think it's supposed to be.
I don't
right?
think
Like,
you're supposed to be using it for writing
it's not
projects.
supposed to be
or
like
anything.
legible.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a cheeky little secret on a cheeky secret album.
Yeah, which like I mean, there's a lot of stuff like that in the album. I've talked about this before, but like the lyrics in the booklet are glossy black font on matte black background. Like you can read it, but you have to like read it in the light.
Yeah, you got to like shine light at a certain angle. It's
cool stuff like that.
Yeah, and I believe Jonathan Barnbrook is behind decisions like that. So, and he built this lyric video for this song. He says, this is really a very simple little video that I wanted to be ultimately positive. We start off in the black and white world of Blackstar, but in the final chorus, we move to brilliant color. I saw it as a celebration of David, to say that despite the adversity we face, the difficult things that happen, such as David's passing, that human beings are naturally positive. They look forward and can take the good from the past and use it as something to help with the present. We are a naturally optimistic species, and we celebrate the good that we are given. Very nice words for what is essentially like we get shaky video of stars, and some he doesn't. What's interesting is it doesn't show you, like often a lyric video will show you every word in the track. This one doesn't do that. It just kind of picks out like highlighted words, like everything will come out a lot on it, and sometimes it'll stylize them as a like constellation. So there will be like E and then a line shooting down at an angle to like V and then up to the right, like you're looking at constellations in the stars.
Yeah, and like the whole seeing more and feeling less line is represented just by like an I symbol.
Mm-hmm.
And he says saying no, it just shows the word no, you know? So it's not, it's not a full.
And then yes is
video.
portrayed backwards afterwards.
True.
So it's little decisions like that. One of the big things he does is like everything shows up as one word, and then there's multiple everythings, and then it's filling out the fucking screen, and then we zoom the camera back, and there's more everythings, and then it becomes like this grid of everything. So there is some fun like graphic design going on here, some fun playing with the words rather than just being dedicated to showing every word in the song.
Yeah, and then it like it's a grid, and then it makes it like a 3D box of everything.
Yeah, and then it eventually warps into a bunch of infinity symbols that then join into one infinity symbol. So it is fun. It's still ultimately just a lyric video. It's not the most thrilling thing, but there is a little thought put into it, I think.
Yeah, I do also like that in the breakout chorus it does do, I think, all of the lyrics or most of them.
Yeah, that's the one where it actually does. It's like, here is all the words, because that's all that's happening like musically is the words.
And then it starts to represent more of the music, I guess, with the visuals. So
yeah, not a bad lyric video. We gotta push forward though. We gotta start talking about covers right after this short break. We're back talking covers. If I Can't Give Everything Away, originally by David Bowie. We're starting in the year 2019 with Sven Ratzke.
I can't give everything. I can't give everything.
Sven, yeah, this guy's like Dutch and German.
Yes.
Speaks English with an English accent, which makes sense.
Yeah.
He's been described as a cabaret supernova.
Yes.
But yeah, he's like a performer, I guess,
singer
on stage,
and entertainer. So yeah, he's like a cabaret guy. So real musical theater energy off this guy.
Yep, definitely.
And
Definitely. And he does a fair amount of Bowie stuff. Like I think this is a whole Bowie cover album.
Yeah,
it's called Where Are We Now?
Yes.
It's got a bunch of different Bowie stuff. Have we talked about this guy? Now I don't remember.
Sven Ratzke? I don't think so. Anyway. We're starting off with what's perhaps a very predictable take for this, but I will say very well done. Is a gentle piano and the sweet, soft vocal approach.
Yeah, that's kind of the sounds to it, right? Like, because it's entirely done on the piano. I do like the piano arrangement, though.
I do think
it's
very nice.
It's not a direct lift, which we will talk about some more later. But yeah, it's like a good piano arrangement for this song. And then it's much more like stark in terms of like, that's the sound and he's singing, right? There's not a lot of sounds to back him up. There's not a saxophone solo and a guitar solo and like a bunch of stuff to fill the space. This is a different approach, very similar feel. But like different sounds, but it also feels very much the same.
Yeah, and it's part of it is he is this performer. He's a theater guy.
Yeah.
So when he's delivering the lines, like the chorus, I can't give everything, and then he like drops on like everything. Like, I can't give everything. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
the whisper.
it's that like dynamic performative approach. Very musical theater. I agree.
And it works here. Of course, it works. There's a lot of musical theater kids who love David Bowie, rightly so.
Yeah.
And like you said, that piano it's not really doing anything from the original, but it's got a nice tone to it. Like you can kind of feel the weight of the keys almost.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's a quality of the song, but yeah, it does. It's like slow. It's not in a hurry. And I guess that's the quality of the guitar even from before. Like it didn't feel like it was in a hurry, but it was moving fast.
Yes.
You know? So like this piano kind of has that feel to it
for sure, because it's doing a lot of arpeggios, but it's not fucking going crazy on the arpeggios. It's not like ripping through them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the elements of it. Like it's very, it's a good performance. It's a good arrangement. He does a good job of it. There's not like a lot of different things to talk about, but like, yeah, it's very solid.
Yeah, I think it's a solid performance, solid take on it. You know, often we talk about songs that you shouldn't be doing this kind of slow, like torn down take for. This is not one of those songs. This is a song that really thrives in that space. Sven Ratzke seems like a good performer. I like his voice. I like the piano, and those are the two elements. So what else is there to say?
Yeah, what else is there to say? Yeah, good job.
Let's go fucking nuts though in 2020. Let's talk about Marc Lowe.
I can't give everything away.
Yeah, let's talk about Marc. Described as an expat living in Tokyo, presumably American, because he didn't say where he was from, and that is the stereotype of Americans, where they'll just say like, "Wow," or they'll assume everyone else is also from America. I guess,
Right.
The thing.
Or, but I'm trying to remember. Do Americans use the term expat, or is that more of a British term?
I've just heard it generally for anyone who doesn't live in the country that they were born in.
Yeah, fair enough. Like that's what you are. You've expatriated.
Yeah, exactly. I've heard expat. I haven't noticed it being used more by the British.
Okay, all right. But then this guy, but Marc with a C, probably French. I cracked.
Could be French. Yeah, I don't know where he's from actually. I just assumed the United States of America.
We know where he is though. He's in Tokyo, and
he's
dude's
in Tokyo.
He wears many hats. He's an electronic musician, singer, songwriter,
No, I think
composer.
it was Sven had the hats on.
Oh, you're right. It's part of the cabaret thing.
Anyway, he's a multi-instrumentalist.
And also a literature and creative writing professor in Tokyo.
Ah, right.
So interesting guy. He looks like he is into the Matrix. If you see his photo, he's got the little glasses.
Oh, he's got the glasses.
He's kind of a Matrix guy. Not in this album artwork, but if you look at other images of him.
Okay.
Seems like kind of a Matrix guy. In this album artwork, he kind of looks like Alice Cooper. But that's neither here nor there. This is a very experimental version.
I see his glasses. Anyway, he there's like a lot of sounds, right? Like it opens with like
church bells.
Yeah, bells, but it's in the like dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Bum, 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 but like that thing.
Letting you know that time has passed.
Yeah, and I guess like since the song is about like endings of life in particular, time is a big element there, right?
Yeah, I assumed it was kind of a nod to like death because they are church bells, like as much as it's a not necessarily a church branded tune. It is
right. It's for whom the bell tolls and all that.
Yeah,
tolls for the dead, I guess. And then that sort of like the bells echo, so you get a lot of like sound in there as they go.
Very echoey, and then we start introducing like really crunchy noises about 22 seconds in.
Yeah, that like really crunchy aggressive synth.
Yeah,
and then he kind of just speaks like really compressed or like maybe close mic kind of thing for the first little bit. At least in the verse there. So yeah, you get that, like we're totally broken down and there's just like sounds happening.
Yeah, and they kind of like those noises kind of pull out during the verse, and we really do just get him compressed speaking at us these words from the first verse.
Yeah. There's like 2 tracks too, right? In the chorus?
Yeah, we've got this sort of like new wave I can't give. Like really robotic.
Yeah, more like robotic and more just like straight spoken words. So it's kind of like 3 different vocal qualities throughout it. There's like the singing, and then there's the spoken, and then there's the like robot.
Yeah.
And with that kind of like once it gets into the and there's even more, I guess, like because there's his singing voice, right? Like come back into the verse, he's doing more singing there, and then there's like kind of some trade-off between the sounds. I can't give everything.
I can't give everything. And then he lets the singing voice ring out at the end.
Yeah, a little like Bowie-isms in there, and there's like the other voices kind of are in the background too.
Yeah.
That's I think the later chorus though.
Yeah, because basically the first minute and a half we're in this weird soundscape space where like just rattlings of that crunchy synth kind of fade in and out. This
yeah, and then I guess the other thing to mention is it does bring the drums in, and like they're fairly loud in the track, but I think they're supposed to cover things up.
Yeah, so that's
sound weird.
Like 126, and they're very like Earthling inspired drums as well, very like drum and bass.
Yep. And yeah, so there's a lot of noise. There's the drums over everything. Near the end, it kind of like cuts back down. But I guess the other thing I'll mention is once he gets to that like ending part, which is a chorus, but it's like near the end, so like 2:47 is my timestamp.
Right.
He starts to like do a more direct like Bowie impression.
Yes.
I can't give everything.
I can't give everything.
I mean, I don't even know if that's a Bowie impression technically. It feels like a Bowie impression.
It's, if not Bowie, it's in like British alt.
Right. Yeah, it also, just kind of has that sound of like, I don't know, new wave.
Yeah, there's a general new wavy feel to the vocals. And at that point in the track too, which the shift is at like 2:22, we're basically just a drum and Marc Lowe track.
Right at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it kind of like drops down. So there's a lot of like different stuff going on. Like I said, there's like basically 3 voices and then kind of like 2 or 3 sections with the like intro and then breaking into the rest of it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'd say pretty cool sounds overall. Like I did overall think it was pretty decent. Some of it feels like almost primitive in the sense that like everything is kind of loud and in your face. I think that's intentional, you know?
Yes.
But it does have that feeling. And then right at the end, there's like, I mean, it's the trick. You hear him walking away, right?
Yeah, you hear these footsteps. So part of me does think the idea of this is like, this is a funeral that is taking place.
Yeah, it's so like based around like the endings. Yeah, there's the bells and then the walking away. Yeah, it feels funerary. And maybe it's, I mean, I'm sure it's in some ways meant as a tribute to Bowie specifically.
Right.
Even though it's 2020.
Yeah, this one is, like I said, it's experimental. It's going to be hit or miss for a lot of people. There are some interesting like sounds and textures in here. I'm not sure it all lands, but it's worth a listen. Yeah,
I thought it was decent overall. And obviously like bells and footsteps aren't like the most advanced techniques, you know?
Right.
Tricks, you might call them. But like it works well and they make sense.
Yeah, and I don't think he's trying to be the most advanced because a lot of the song doesn't have like instrumental backing or very little.
Yeah.
So he's really trying to do some like minimalist stuff here.
Yeah, I really do think there's like a weird, and I used this word before, I'm going to use it again, like primitive aspect to it, which is maybe strange, but it does, some things feel like they're literally like knocking you over the head with it. Because like like elements are very loud when they're happening.
Yeah.
but it feels intentional.
Yeah, I wonder if
Sometimes
it's meant
that doesn't feel intentional.
to express this sort of like blunt emotion of grief. It's not a refined experience. It's upfront and bizarre, and sometimes a little grating. But yeah, Marc Lowe, interesting piece. Not the last expat in Tokyo we're going to talk about.
No, weirdly enough.
But first, we're going to talk about 2023's cover by Spoon.
I can't give everything. I can't give everything.
By Spoon.
Spoon.
Yeah, I think you mentioned this is kind of what inspired.
This was the
looking
first
into
time
this
I
song.
even heard people covering this song. I think it must have been not Spotify. It would have been Tidal on by that point delivered it to me. It was like, hey man, Spoon dropped a new single. I was like, oh shit, cool.
Yeah, I remember you telling me
yeah.
about this when it came out.
Because at first I was like, nobody should cover this. This is a bad idea. And I listened to this one, and I do like this one. So they're the American indie rock band from Austin, Texas. We talked about Spoon for our 5th episode, maybe 6th.
It was really early on. We talked about Inside Out.
Yes. And these guys are a band. We talked earlier about how some musicians get softer in their old age. Spoon themselves talked about this in an interview a couple of years back. They're like, we just still wanted to make like actual rock and roll music and not like soft stuff. So that's kind of what got me into them in 2022, because I went and saw them live for their album Lucifer on Sofa. Great band, really like them. And I think this is a pretty solid performance.
Yeah, I tend to agree. There's similar aspects to the Sven Ratzke version,
For sure.
mostly because it's very piano driven.
Yeah.
And it's like a piano arrangement that is also very successful.
Mm-hmm.
And like sounds really good, and there's a lot of like really good dynamics in it. They do like runs, so I really like the piano playing in this. And this one definitely there's like more dynamics than some other ones. I should say.
I think what it does really well is carrying that sort of driving rhythm sense that's present in the original,
right?
And managing to carry. They do it really simply. Like a lot of it's just carried by that shaker. Like it's just a tsk, 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 tsk. And that's enough to give you that sense of movement. It
does have a bit of like, I mean, there's still a lot of stuff going on, but it feels more stripped down just because the original fills so much of that space, right? But yeah, you get the like kind of snare and rhythm guitar to set up their like rhythm, so it's a little simpler. But yeah, they still keep it moving, right?
Yeah.
And then, I mean, to me, the piano really steals the show.
I think so. It's a great arrangement on that.
I like the chords. I like the arrangement. I like what I was going to say, actually, there's like a chord switch up on the choruses.
Okay.
Where they do the bam, 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 bam. Do you know what I'm talking about? 104 is my timestamp.
Okay, let me take a look there. Oh yeah, that yeah, it's like a nice little fucking lick or something.
It's interesting. They just like throw that in there, and they play that on the choruses. It's cool. There is also a piano solo early on, similar, kind of after that first chorus.
Yeah, around like 117-ish.
Yeah. But yeah, I really like the piano on this. And then.
Yeah,
they even like do a breakdown later on, only for a little bit, but it's like to the piano chords, and it's like, yes, keep the piano. It's the
backbone, dude. It keeps this whole thing moving. And what it does that's different from Sven Ratzke is it does try to adapt and incorporate some of that original like notes, and so you get a bit of the sounds from the original, but all laid out on this piano, which is nice and full. And it moves really well. Like you said, like these nice little solos, these nice licks at the end of things. A really strong piano piece.
Yeah. Sorry, I just remembered because I was listening to some of the piano solo. There's like random falsetto vocals in there.
Yeah,
he just goes like, oh. I'm like, okay, sure.
All right, Britt Daniels. Sure
feels
thing.
like he was like trying something and it didn't quite work out, but they left it in.
Yeah, they like couldn't take it out of the edit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, these, strong piano arrangement and other stuff as well, but I'm just like very taken
You're
by
zoned
like,
in
the
on
piano
that.
part. Yeah.
I like Britt Daniels' vocals. He's the vocalist
too.
here. I think he really punches it on I Can't Give Everything Away. puts a little of that rock and roll in it, and I do think it pays off. I do think it sounds good.
Yeah, the like baseline intensity for this version is higher than a lot of the other ones. Especially looking, I mean, at the original and then looking at the Sven Ratzke version, they're lower, right? And this one like starts higher. It still goes up, like it still has the dynamics, but starts higher and feels a little more like rock and roll because of that. So it's good. It's good, and I like his voice.
I like his voice.
You know, I don't even listen to that much Spoon, but when they come on, I'm like, hey, it's the guy from Spoon.
But yeah, he's got a unique quality to it. It's a good rock and roll voice.
It's like a graveliness, but like it's small gravel. It's like bigger than sand, but smaller than gravel.
Yeah, it's like if a kid was smoking cigarettes or something. I don't know.
It's like not a child that smokes.
Yeah, like not a grizzled old man, somebody a bit younger.
Yeah.
It's full arrangement. I think it sounds great. I think it still carries some of that like somberness, some of that melancholy, while also having that energy. And hey, what's not to love about that?
Yeah,
we've got to talk about a semi super group, sort of a loose collection of dudes in 2023. So this is M.Ward, Jim James, and Kelly Pratt.
So M.Ward, generally more like a folk musician, as I understand.
Sort
like
of
blues,
a monster
folk,
of folk, as it were.
Yeah, I didn't look him up a ton, but why don't you give some details?
Sure. So this is Matthew Stephen M.Ward, who's an American singer-songwriter, producer, and guitarist, Grammy-nominated. Most notably a member of She and Him, Zoe Deschanel's duo.
Oh, that's this guy.
That's this guy. Who
I don't know. I didn't read far enough on his
talked
page
about.
to get to that factoid, but I see it.
But so you kind of have to, because then you understand why everyone's connected here. So he's a member of She and Him and the folk supergroup Monsters of Folk, which existed for 1 year. It's like one album and they're done. Jim James, also a member of Monsters of Folk, and of course a member of the band My Morning Jacket.
Right.
Allegedly sometimes known as Yim Yams, according to his Wikipedia.
I mean, that just sounds like he was telling a joke or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Pronouncing the J's like a Y, which some languages do.
I get the joke. I just I'm curious as to why it's on his Wikipedia page. And then of course our final member, also a dude, not a lady, Kelly Pratt, an arranger and multi-instrumentalist known for doing brass and woodwind work for Beirut, David Byrne, St. Vincent, and Father John Misty. Yeah,
that's quite a resume.
So yeah, some real a real studio musician there with Kelly Pratt, and then two other guys who are granted a lot of industry, maybe not names, but certainly guys who are part of names.
Yeah, they've worked with some bigger artists for sure.
And I think this version would be perfect if it was exclusively instruments. I don't mind the ways that they sing, but it's just we did such great work on the instrumentals here, I truly think.
Right, because it's mostly instrumental. And there's just a few voice parts. There's not much, though, right?
Not much. So it doesn't detract, but I just do wonder if we could have done it full instrumental. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It just, they just throw those kind of voice parts in. Really, it's mostly there are some harmonies on the chorus, and then they'll sing away.
Yeah. That really is it. That's maybe my one negative note. Otherwise, I mean, this Kelly Pratt guy's a fucking ace on the brass here. The saxophone at the start, that's great.
I'm assuming that's him because he's kind of the multi-instrumentalist here. And it's the saxophone playing the melody, and then you get the nice arpeggiated guitar. And then they do bring a really crunchy guitar in for the second verse.
They do, yeah.
And that's where we get the vocal harmonies. And then of course everything's so saturated, so it feels kind of distant, which is, in keeping with the feeling of this song. It gives it that more melancholy feeling.
Yeah. And I will say this, I do like the sort of angelic sigh they add to the track at 37 seconds, which is vocals.
Okay.
But not words.
Right, not words. Not away. It's more like a because the world is round. All that. And then there's a flute too, or maybe it almost has a mellotron sound to it because it sounds a bit tapey.
Yeah,
but there's a decent the whole track has a bit of that lo-fi thing.
Yeah, there's an element of this that
Yeah.
is similar to Flaming Lips' Christmas track specifically.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
And they got like the big rumbly drums too, which could be like a timpani or something.
Yeah. So we are approaching Christmas music from the psychedelic
We
angle
are.
in this version
Yeah.
of it.
This is psychedelic Christmas music.
Yeah.
We miss Christmas.
Oh, fuck. Sneak it into your Christmas playlist for this year, guys,
Yeah.
for 2026.
This version of I Can't Give Everything Away, all lowercase.
Yeah, all lowercase, except for the I.
I'm seeing a lowercase I.
Oh, maybe that is a lowercase I.
It's hard
I
to
gotta
tell.
get my eyes
The
checked,
font-
man.
You know, maybe you just have a lower resolution screen, so it
I
smears
could.
it all together.
I think I got lower resolution eyes, brother.
Well, I
But-
do recommend getting your eyes checked annually,
Did you
or
supposed
at
to do
least
it
every
annually?
other year. Every other year, I do.
I haven't done it in many, many, many years, Alex.
Yeah.
I get my eyes checked when I get my license renewed.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Which is not frequent. Ooh,
Not
I'll probably have to do
frequently.
that this year. Anyway, yeah. So mostly instrumental. It's a pretty good instrumental version. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure what to expect, but like they keep it slow, keep it nice, keep it ambient, and it just sort of washes over you. It feels nice.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
It is like the softness of death. It's a
Yeah.
sort of welcoming embrace of it. It's a very easy listen. Yeah, I don't mind this one at all. Except for my one note, maybe take the away out. And even that I'm not like
Yeah, it's
militant
such a
about.
small part. Like you
Yeah.
can ignore it without it
Mhm.
doesn't bother. You know.
Yeah. Marvelous. Love this one. Still in 2023, we've got Kenneth and Drew.
I can't give everything. I can't give everything.
We do.
Singular.
Singular. That'll become important later.
Yes, and
Um,
sorry, this is credited incorrectly on title because it is Kenneth, Andrew, and Anari Iki.
Right, because it's
is-
both of them.
Yes. Anari Iki is an experimental collective of musicians led by the pianist-composer Kevin McHugh. They're Tokyo-based.
Yeah.
This is our other expat crew,
Yes.
or at least
so,
semi-expat. Some
Yeah,
of them
'cause-
are just
sorry.
Japanese people.
Right. Yeah, and Kenneth Andrews like originally from Florida.
Yes.
Yeah, what happens in this one? This is a more direct cover than
This is
most-
the most direct cover.
any of the other versions we're going to talk about today. I'll give it away right here.
Yes.
And I do think that doesn't really do it any favors, especially because they move the like synth part to the piano fairly directly. And I don't love that because, you know, the original synth fills out so much space, which is like doo 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 kind of sound.
Yes.
Moving that to a piano without doing anything else, I don't think sounds great.
It annoyed me pretty quickly. It's a
Yeah.
pretty grating sound. It doesn't have that same like space filling quality. It doesn't have that loopability that played synth does. Like it suffers. It really drags the song down.
Yeah, and like, so I guess I'll say they don't do a terrible job of it or anything, but I do feel like what it feels to me is like they took the parts of the original, or most
Mhm.
of them, because there's no harmonica,
Right.
right? They don't do that part, and just like kind of swap the sounds on it, but like reduced a lot of the saturation, which makes it just not like blend as well. So everything feels less well blended. It's almost like, and we talk about this sometimes, they had a MIDI file,
Right.
and changed the sounds, but kind of didn't do it as thoughtfully as they could have.
Yeah, so they change the sounds. They don't really mix it properly.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, things sound separated. They don't blend together as well. And it's just not as good as the original. And you're directly comparing yourself to the original because you're going note for note.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate.
It is
Because
unfortunate.
they are. But I actually thought the guitar solo in the outro was kind of neat. I do like the sound on it. Like a more like heavily digital version of the original. Could be a synth as well.
Yeah,
actually.
they find their own space. It is a guitar solo, at least at first. I don't know if it shifts into, and I noted this because I was like, this song is so close to the original that 408 is my timestamp for both guitar solos starting.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Do they do
But
the earlier sax solo?
they do at, and I believe 216, we're doing a sax solo, which is when the sax solo really kicks off in the original. So your timestamps on this are almost, we're 20 seconds shorter in this version, but we're somehow like beat for beat with the original song.
Yeah, it's just like less outro kind of
Yeah.
thing. Which, fair enough, I get it. Especially if you're not really filling that space as much with the sound. So you don't
Mhm.
have that, like, you can't sit in it as much, right? And I think
Yeah.
that was a good decision to cut it short.
I think so.
But yeah, and I do appreciate that they kind of do their own solos. They're not like, the solos aren't copies.
Yes, I think that is a good move. It's the least you can do, really.
Yeah, but like I didn't love the piano arrangement because it's not really like, it's just doing the original. Which is, it made me appreciate the Sven Ratzke and Spoon versions more after hearing this one.
Mm-hmm.
Because they kind of don't do it here, and just made me appreciate what they do.
Yeah, it's
But-
interesting to have like
yeah.
two sort of less is more versions, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, you can take quite a few elements out of this song and still have it hit.
Yeah, exactly. And this one just kind of like, it doesn't really take things out. It just kind of doesn't put them together as well. Even like some of the points where the vocals are doubled, I felt the backups didn't really fit as well as they could have.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do think it's probably mostly a mixing issue. But there's probably, it could be issues with like the sounds they chose and stuff. So that's kind
Yeah.
of pre-mixing. But yeah, just like it doesn't blend like it maybe should.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I
but-
think that piano doing the synth part should have just been a synth. Like just
Yeah.
put that in.
Absolutely. So I think it's fine. Like it's fine. Everyone does a decent job, but it's let down in a few like key ways.
Mm-hmm.
At least for me, that like
I
kinda
agree
put me
like
off it.
100%. And like you said, that guitar solo is noteworthy. It's sounding pretty fucking cool once it kicks
Yeah.
off.
Absolutely. So it does have good aspects for sure.
Mm-hmm. It just needs like another take or a remixing or something. You just need to bring things together a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you just need like more than one Andrew. Maybe in 2025 we need Meghan Andrews.
I can't give everything away.
Yeah, maybe. This performer who is not an actor. There's another
Right.
actor, I believe, with the same name.
She
Seems
is
to
an
not be
actor
this
though.
person. Is an actor, but I don't think is the same person
Oh, she's
spoken
different
of
from that
on
other
IMDb.
Okay, it's tough. I had to do a lot of like matching pictures across like media.
Yeah, but it's hard to tell because also, like, so I'm on the Blue Coast Records
Mhm.
website,
Yes.
and her face is like half covered by lens flare and hair.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is it the same person?
Which I was
IMDb?
able to trace to her
Maybe.
Instagram. And her Instagram, I think,
Oh.
had photos that were similar to the ones on IMDb.
So maybe it is the same
So it
person
might be the same person. This was a little tricky to nail down.
who was in 13 episodes of The Babysitters Club in 1990.
Yeah, because
Ish.
and looking at her age, she does look like that would be plausible.
Yeah.
She's a member of the anti-folk scene, allegedly. This is according to Blue Coast Records, which is her label. Inspired by was it Joni Mitchell and somebody else.
Yeah.
And this version is, I don't know if it's anti-folk. It's pretty U2 sounding.
It does sound like you too, right? The like arpeggio on it.
Yeah, that guitar, like the processing and the arpeggio on it, which is like our big like hook element. That's like the exciting thing in this version.
Yeah.
Very U2.
Yeah, that like echoey. Yeah. Very The Edge.
Yes.
And then a lot of acoustic guitar strumming. But there's like a couple guitars, right? There's like a wah guitar that comes in. Maybe it's flanger. Who knows?
Yeah.
I can't tell the difference apparently.
Well, when it's so dense with effects too, like it is here, like a
Yeah.
little hard to pick things out.
So that's pretty cool. This is like the more guitar driven version, which we haven't really done yet,
Mhm.
surprisingly, because usually that's like the first one.
Yeah.
If someone's like, well, what if I did an acoustic guitar or
Exactly.
an electric guitar?
So
You
this
know,
is like
something.
an acoustic guitar. Meghan Andrews is strumming it and singing quite softly to this.
Yeah.
And then somehow the Edge got in the studio.
the
and
Edge got in the studio.
and he's filling in.
Yeah. Which, yeah, sounds pretty cool. Kind of cycles between like the guitar sounds, right? So like there's the
Yeah.
arpeggios, and then there's like this more echoey guitar part. which might just be the arpeggio guitar, but it's slower.
It's right on the choruses. It's kind of spooky sounding. It's
Yeah, it gets the like wow, wow. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's the wah sound. So it's this kind of the arpeggios, the U2 arpeggios, the wah sound, and then the like strumming of the acoustic guitar.
Mhm.
It just kind of goes between those.
Yeah. So it's not
yeah.
the most exciting version this week. I think it's got some
No.
interesting elements.
It does have some interesting elements, and like, you know, everything's kind of different, right? So I think it's a decent sound overall. I do like the sort of 3 guitars coming together thing. This one, I wouldn't say it like blew me away, but I do think it's solid, which I also said about Marc Lowe.
Yeah, Marc
So,
Lowe. I think Marc Lowe's
yeah.
version is braver. I think this version still
Sure.
good, and like we're coming into the final verdicts here pretty quick, and I think we all know who's going to be in last place here. And it's
Sometimes it's obvious,
It's
right?
not Meghan Andrews. I think she's got some fun moves here. She sings well enough. This is kind of she meets like industry standard here. It's like a
Yeah.
working musician's cover of a David Bowie song. It's not wildly adventurous. There is the weirdness of this U2 guitar, which sounds fun and interesting, and
Yeah.
maybe has a bit of that like airiness, that like hope in it or something. Maybe that's why it's in there.
Yeah, maybe I just like will run through the fields or whatever, you know? Like,
Yeah. I mean, there is almost an
I'm gonna
element
be
of
with
Bob
you.
O'Reilly to it as well.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking
Little
of
Bob
fields.
O'Reilly in there,
I do-
especially because yeah, like Echo. So yeah, it's definitely solid overall. As a personal preference, I just really like the like piano sounds in some of the other covers. You know, I like the piano led ones. This is good too.
Mm-hmm. For
Yeah.
some reason, the piano really carries this song. When
Yeah,
you
it
do
just
it
does
right.
something here, man.
But
I don't
we're
know.
going to find out which one carries it the best in our final verdicts. We got 3 categories: the worst version, the best version, and the most foreboding version.
Sure,
Like a black star.
like a Blackstar.
Alex, take it away. What's the worst version?
What's the worst version? I mean,
It's
I
Kenneth
think,
Andrew, right?
in my opinion, the worst version of this song is by Kenneth Andrew. Well, it's actually, what is it? What was it?
Nariki.
Nariki?
Yeah.
With Kenneth Andrew.
With Ken Andrew.
Yeah, for all the reasons we said before, it just doesn't like gel.
Mhm.
It doesn't all fit together in the way that all the other ones seem to be able to. It's lacking that, and even like the Marc Lowe version, like it also has a harshness to it, but it's supposed to be like that. Where this
he's
is
trying.
like we're doing the original arrangement pretty directly. We're just not really doing it as well, and it doesn't seem to just be like, well, that's our sound. Like it just doesn't fit.
Yeah.
That said, that sounds like a condemnation. It's fine. Like it's okay. That's kind of a nitpick almost. It's just the other ones don't
Yeah.
have that problem. And that happened to stand out for me
Yeah.
quite prominently because the other ones seem to be able to figure it out and these guys just didn't.
It's
So,
a
yeah,
week
that's
of
it.
fairly absurdly impressive covers.
Yeah.
And not even for usually the reasons we would praise covers. Like the Sven Ratzke version ranks pretty high for me. I think it's
Yeah.
very good, and it's like pretty against our like ethos of what we think makes good covers usually. So it's an odd week for covers. I'm impressed at how well a lot of people did. And in terms of where you're losing marks, it's for kind of just hugging close to the original and not just kind of basic like mixing and things like that, not being up to snuff. So yeah, Kenneth Andrew the worst, but let's flip it. What's the best this week?
What's the best version? Man, there were some real good versions this week too. As you
Mhm.
said, surprisingly strong. And yeah, I'm not going to mix this up very much because as much as I liked a lot of them,
Mhm.
Spoon did a really good cover
I
and
think
I
it's
really
really
liked
strong,
it. And
yeah.
like the combination of like, I mean, I already said I really like the piano driven ones more, which, you know, really narrows it down. And like the Spoon one also has some other really nice stuff in there. They throw in, you know, some really nice guitar sounds. I like the guy's voice, whose name for some reason I keep forgetting, even though you've said it like 10 times.
Britt Daniels, I
Daniels.
think with an S on the end. I wrote it
Is
down
he
because
one
I knew I
Daniel
was
or
going to
two?
mention it.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's the question. I'm doubting myself. Britt Daniel, it's single.
Daniel, okay, there you go. Yeah, it's a really
Yeah.
good cover.
I hate to be boring as well. I think I got to give it the Spoon version. Maybe it's because the first cover I heard, so it sticks with me a little harder. But yeah, brilliant piano arrangement. very minimalist in the elements backing that piano.
Yeah.
And the delivery of the chorus by Britt Daniel is great, phenomenal. I almost would have given it to M.Ward, Jim James, and Kelly Pratt. I think if they had not done the away, I think they might have.
That's all it would take. They might have.
Because I think that version is very interesting. I think Sven Ratzke had a good chance of taking the throne this week too.
Yeah, he did good. It was close.
It was close, but who's the most foreboding, Alex? Who's most ominous this week? That's probably Marc Lowe, isn't it?
It's probably Marc Lowe, yeah. Like, let's see, who else was like really had a foreboding thing? I mean, he did the bells, he did the walking away. There's like a really real starkness to it. There's like, it's harsh in a way that really kind of like digs into your brain. You know, if that's not foreboding, I don't know what is. Other than, I will say the original. Listening to the original on like the Friday. Being like, I wonder if this means anything.
What do you mean something's very wrong?
You know, it was very foreboding to hear and be like, I wonder if I should pay attention to this. And then it pays off. In a negative way.
Fuck, I was supposed to do something in those 2 days to save David Bowie.
Exactly. That was the warning. And then I didn't heed the warning. But yeah, it's Marc Lowe, but it's probably David Bowie.
Yeah, we'll chuck it to Marc Lowe. I'm going to do the same. But yeah, like naturally the David Bowie version had a literal like impact on the world and was foreboding, even if we didn't know it, and didn't have much time to fore its bode, you know?
Yeah.
It had 2 days.
Like, it only had like 3 bode.
Yeah. It had scantly a 3 bode. That is our final verdicts, though. If you've got similar opinions, different opinions, want to talk to us about a different version, which would basically just be the 9 Inch Nails version.
Oh, yeah.
Which we missed, unfortunately. It's a very simple cover, that one, though, and it's quite beautiful. You guys should look up the live performance Trent Reznor does of it with 9 Inch Nails. Very nice stuff, of course, because they were also friends, and David Bowie helped Trent Reznor get sober. Another beautiful story. But tell us your opinions on these things. You can reach out to us on Blue Sky, at Snakey Me, at some Alex Wise Guys. Send us your comments, questions, concerns, suggestions for future episodes. Those can also be emailed to us at covermepod@gmail.com. Talk to us there. Be sure to rate and review us. We're on all the apps. We're on Spotify. We're on, I almost said Stitcher. Stitcher has been dead for, I think, 3 years. We're on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, we're on Amazon Podcasts, Pocket Cast, Podurama, Podbean, your favorite apps. Hit us up there. Tell your friends, family, neighbors, and loved ones about us. What you can do this week to really get the word out there is, I feel like I've done Buy a Star called Cover Me, haven't I?
I don't remember.
If I've done that before, you now have to buy a constellation of stars. To shape out a QR code that will link people to Cover Me. It's the only way.
A QR code.
It's got to be a QR code. We love our QR codes. And that does it for today's episode of Cover Me. And as we always say on Cover Me, the blackout hearts, the flowered news, with Cover Me upon my shoes.